And welcome back to the Backyard Quarterbacks here with Ryan Hartle. We got Adam Clifton and Tyler Rust. Um, Big football weekend. We'll jump into the Florida State game to start it off. It was kind of the marquee game, two ranked teams, 22 Wake Forest versus 23 or 25.
Twen-
I don't
They
even
were they
remember.
were 22 and 23 in the AP coaches poll. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we're not ranked anymore, so I couldn't remember. Um, but yeah, no, it was a tough game. It was a tough game to watch. Kind of talking to Tyler before the games or before we started our podcast. It's just kind of like don't matter like how bad you really want to go 12-0. Like that's not what was going to happen with this team at all. This loss was about was going to come sooner than later. We want to talk about last year. This was our first win, October, and now this is our first loss. So we're really looking a lot better. Um, but yeah, I mean, go with Wake Forest. I mean, the worst thing about their team is just the name of the team. Like you put this roster in a Gator uniform, you put this roster in a North Carolina uniform, like they're supposed to win the ACC. This team's really, really good. But when you say Wake Forest, it just doesn't have that ring to it. Sam Hartman has thrown 87 touchdowns in his collegiate career. He has played for 5 years, and it shows that he's a junior. So I guess this whole COVID thing, everybody gets that extra year. So we might be facing him again next year. But this is a veteran team. You saw him play Clemson, double overtime. Um,
yeah.
I mean, they're a good team. We come out the gate, 5 plays, score a touchdown. I'm thinking, yeah, man, we're going to do this. It might be like another Clemson Wake Forest game, very high scoring game.
Adam got
Um,
early on.
what's that?
Adam got a little bit excited early on after that first touchdown.
Yeah,
It happened so quick. I mean, it was just big chunk plays.
moving
Um,
the ball really well. Yeah,
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and I think it was just like, all right, here we go. We stopped them. I think it was a 3-and-out. I know they had a punt. Yep. 5 plays. They punt. Perfect. Like we could jump on this opportunity. Let's go down the field. No, we do a 3-and-out. Basically, we don't score again in the first half. Um, we don't get our first third down conversion until our last drive before halftime, where we missed a field goal. Wake though, they just put up 21 by half. Um, they were getting those third downs. They were 10 for 18 on the game. They were 3 for 3 on fourth down efficiency. So it's just like, and I mean, I literally, when they hike the ball and run that quarterback read, it's like 1001, 1002, no pressures coming on them. They can sit there and actually be like, hey, do you want to run this ball or not? Or I'll keep at that. Somebody's getting open. Let's just do the fake and I'll throw it. Like it was just no pressure. And it was like so frustrating because it's just like, what the heck? I mean, if
right.
your DBs have to stay on a guy for 6 seconds, 7 seconds because we ain't getting no pressure, like they're going to get open.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and their receiver number 9, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing on Sundays. He's a very uh, elite talent out there. Um, so I think at halftime you're sitting there just like it's not over, it's not that over feeling. I don't think I ever had that feeling, but it's like, man, I really don't want this to get ugly kind of feeling more than anything.
Right.
So they come out the gate, score another touchdown. At this time it's 28-7. And then all of a sudden we want to start playing football. I mean, that's when things started kind of changing. We made them punt a couple times. We're scoring, and you're looking at the clock like we got enough time to win this game. We can come back. Um, which we ended up coming short, and we could not stop their third downs. We could not stop their fourth downs. We could not get pressure on them. Um, I was talking to Tyler a little bit too. Verse, our best defensive player, defensive end. Um, he was going to dress out, but it wasn't sure if he was going to play. He might play limited. Um, he got in, got a sack, got a tackle for loss, uh, got some quarterback hurries, but then he went out again with another injury. He ended up walking off the field and trotting, and then started throwing his hands up like, "Come on, come on!" So, but it was like, dang, we shouldn't even played him. Like my heart dropped again. Like, why are we playing this guy? He just got hurt again. Because you can see what he's capable of when he's on the field. It's kind of like that Jermaine Johnson aspect. Like,
Yeah,
wow,
last year.
anything can
Yeah.
happen when this guy's on the field. Disrupts everything, even if it's doesn't even go towards him. He can hurry the quarterback. He can just get two or three guys to block him. And the rest of the team can get, make a better play. But we didn't get to see him all day. But when he did get in, man, it was pretty amazing to see. And then what was that whole like interception? Like that guy actually like jumped over our player and took the ball out of his hands, or just like it was like at the very end, their last
Yeah, it
drive.
was like a PK Sam catch. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. I was like, I yelled pick right when I saw it. I was like, you get an interception right there, like it changes a lot. Like you're feeling good. So I'm sorry I haven't got any of your aspects of the game or anything, but it's just like I felt good and like we could win that game. Like I still
Yeah.
like even with 2 minutes left, I'm thinking like, okay, if we stop them, get the ball back, yeah, we're gonna have to get a 2-point conversion, whatever. Like let's just stop them. We couldn't do it. So final score 31-21. Adam, you went to the game. How did were things that you saw and any experiences you like to share?
Yeah, so went down to the game. First time I've been to a game in a long time. The atmosphere before the game was electric. Like we did like pictures at Unconquered statue, did like the whole like, walk around the stadium, went into the shop. It was just electric. And starting off that game, last game we had we started off with a return for a
Hmm.
touchdown, and we scored so quick. I'm like, oh shit, are we this good? Like, is this
Yeah,
gonna happen? Are we gonna roll Wake like we rolled Boston College?
yeah,
And so yeah, it was very electric. The atmosphere was amazing. The band, all of it, Osceola, everything. And then you're like, oh shit, Wake's Wake's actually good. This isn't
yeah.
like a normal team from in the past when Wake, they haven't been good in forever, if ever.
They weren't,
Um,
of course, it took advantage of a weak ACC. Like they're, you know,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah, they look like they're legit, like they're legit. And yeah, I had the same thought that you have. Like we're playing catch up too late. This game, if we would have 6 quarters rather than 4, we could win. Um, but Jordan Travis had a great game.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like a caveat or like a takeaway. Like, all right, it's not like we lost because our quarterback sucks, like
Right,
Florida's quarterback does,
right,
or anything like
exactly.
that.
That's how we
Yeah,
can be better than them. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So
we'll
the
see.
diva,
Looks like it might be turning around. We'll see.
yeah,
We
yeah,
gotta play.
against Eastern Washington. Yeah. So no, but it was a good game. Obviously, you don't like to lose. We talked about this last week. There's no way we were going 3-0 over the next 3 games.
Yeah.
I just hope we can win one of the next two. But yeah, Wake Forest looks like they're good. Um, we'll see what happens. We'll see who they play in a bowl game because I mean, they're 5-0 now, right?
No, they lost to Clemson double overtime.
Oh yeah. So they're 4-1, right?
Yeah, they
We're
played for the
4.
ACC championship last year, and
Yeah,
basically that whole team came back.
yeah. They're
So
4-1. We're 4-1. Um, but before the season, if you would have told me, hey, how would you feel if your team's 4-1 going into week 6? I would have said, sign me up.
yeah,
I wouldn't have believed it. So
yeah.
yeah, that's my thoughts. And we have two tough games coming up, and we'll see what happens.
The hype, like I think that started getting like alarming because it was like my son likes to borrow our cell phone, and he goes to the game before it starts, and it has this like percentage who's going to win, and it's just fans voting. Like it has no kind of like legitimate, like the top 5 writers are the ones that do this. Like no, and it had like Florida State is going to win this game 75%. I'm like, no, like that's actually made me mad. And then I saw the college game day, like 3 out of the 4 people picked Florida State to beat Wake, and then we're favored by like a touchdown or 6
Yeah, we were
points.
favored by 6. Yeah,
It was just like, I think, like after we did our podcast last week, I was feeling pretty like good and confident. I'm like, I'm pretty, or just excited to see this game. But as the days started getting closer, and I just was reading or seeing stuff online, or just I'm like, people are sleeping on Wake right now. Like it's because their name is Wake freaking Forest. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like I remember
Yeah,
when Tim Duncan played there, and they were like in the Final Four, and they're like, this is the smallest Division I school in the country. They only had like 2,000 enrollments. And I'm like, that's like JU. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's probably up now. I don't know. I can
yeah.
pull it up,
It's like
but
Terry Parker.
yeah, right, right. So I don't know. I just felt everybody just like giving us too much props too quickly, and it was actually like I really wish we weren't ranked. I mean, I was happy we were ranked, but now it's like we only fell back. We're 28 right now. I saw we're 3rd in receiving votes, and then Florida was 30th. LSU's ranked now, so they're 25. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still feeling good. Like I think they're going to get things kind of worked out. I don't know. I almost feel like I'm kind of excited for this NC State game. You know, we're able to get a W out of this. I mean, it's going to be a hard fought game. They just lost to Clemson, so hopefully it's a hangover. But I mean, they're going to be ready. It's always tough to play in Raleigh. We've always had a lot of issues up there, almost like Louisville's on Thursday night. We had our share of NC State games. One that comes to mind, it was just like it was Chris Winky's first year starting, and I think he threw a touchdown. Like first play of the game post was like an 80-yard touchdown to Peter Warwick. You're like, all right, this is going to be a route, like here we go. And we end up losing that game 24-7. They had a guy named Torrey Holt that just we could not stop at all. But yeah, those were the good old days. But I don't know. I think we're gonna be all right. You got
Yep.
any?
Both 4-1 going into that game. Us and NC State. I think they're probably still ranked. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
17.
Yeah, they should be.
Wake bumped up to 15. They're 17. Clemson's still 5. Syracuse is now ranked because they're 5-0. Yeah.
There's a lot of ACC teams ranked.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think once we get through that gauntlet, which has started this week, and we got the L, but NC State and Clemson, we follow that up with Georgia Tech, and I think we probably got like a bye week or something before Miami. I would say those 2 games are very winnable, but rivalry games can't really just throw a W on it just yet. Um,
Yeah.
But I mean, just
Yeah.
kind of how,
They would have been the more obvious pick.
yeah, yeah. So you said you didn't really watch much of the game.
Well, I watched it and into the start of the second half and went 28-10. And I was like, all right, I kept thinking that Florida State was probably gonna
Yeah,
make it a game, but 28-10, I was like, I guess not, especially
yeah,
back after the half. And then tuned back in at the end when I saw it was a little closer. But
yeah.
good
Adam,
football weekend, so I had to switch over and watch some other games.
Adam, what's your take on the field goal kicker at Florida State? We're supposed to be
Uh,
like kicker you, baby. Like what the heck?
I mean, yeah, we're supposed to be, but like I don't think I can name a kicker that's in the NFL since Aguayo, and he kind of like
Oh, Dustin Hopkins is kicking for the Chargers. Uh, Graham Gano's kicking for the Giants.
no, I mean after Aguayo.
Oh yeah, like being
Yeah,
drafted. Yeah.
yeah, Graham Gano just nailed like a 60-yarder like last week or something like that, and he had like 4 field goals. I mean, yeah, we should be, and we should always have the best kicker because we are like kicker you. But I mean, yeah, you gotta make kicks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he's kind of like, it's mental now. You know what I mean? Like
All right,
versus ability or whatever. Like it's kind of in his head now. It's going to be tough to win games like NC State and Clemson or just Wake Forest. I mean, he missed 2 games there or 2 field goals this past game. That could really kind of change up the flow or just get, going into half, making that field goal would have been like
right,
a completely different aspect. But
yeah, and it changes the whole team's like enthusiasm and morale, and then not only that, but it also changes like the coaches, game plan. Like, hey, can can we trust this guy to make this, or should
right.
we go for it? So I think it changes the whole dynamic of the game 100%.
Especially now, it seems like with these analytics, all these coaches focusing a lot on these analytics. It seems like they're going for fourth down a lot more. To where if a kicker goes in there and misses a kick, then it seems like good luck, get another chance.
Yeah, yeah. I knew I should have went for it, like
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, yeah, if he hits that field goal, you're like, all right, good decision. If he misses it, you're like, oh, we could have got a first down if we went for it. So it's one of those things like you'll never know. And then that's speaking to what Tyler says, like analytics say do this. So who
Yeah.
knows, man?
Moneyball. Um,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we'll switch it up, go to the Gator game. Y'all playing the powerhouse,
Yeah.
Central Mission Chippewas. No, they would actually beat y'all. You're talking
Uh,
about Western Michigan Broncos? No, they would have beat y'all too.
Eagles.
I didn't know what they were called.
Yeah.
East Michigan Eagles.
I didn't until Eastern Washington Eagles.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So 52-17. It was 52-3 until late to the fourth. When they finally scored their first touchdown. But it was just one of those games where it's like you expect to win big, and luckily that we did. It's really only a story if they don't win big.
Yeah.
So it's big from it. Andy Richardson, had another week where he was efficient. I think one of the stats was early in the game, he was 2 for 2 on passing for 100 yards and a touchdown. So it was, I think he only ended 8 for 10 for 200.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it really worked on his passing good.
Yeah. If you watched the game, which was on ESPN Plus, and you probably, I don't even would have seen any highlights, but whatever Florida wanted to do, they did, and they gained big yards. So there wasn't that many plays total to be had.
Yeah.
Because it was really a team that was completely outmatched from an athletic standpoint. And that showed on the floor. It's not really away from that game. We have Missouri next week, and the Missouri took Georgia into the fourth quarter. Looked for a while like they might beat Georgia pretty handily. But Georgia's kind of the next Alabama where you got to beat them all 4 quarters, and they're deep with talent. So they can stay fresh longer and deeper into games. And I think that's kind of what happened, how Georgia was able to eventually come back. They're that tough team that you can't write them off just because they're down a few touchdowns early in the game. So we'll see how that, I don't know if that's, maybe they caught Georgia slipping. If Georgia's not what we thought they were, they did have that game last week against I don't even. Do y'all even remember who it was that they struggled with Central? I don't even. I was gonna say Central Michigan, but it wasn't them.
You talking about Missouri?
No, Georgia. So last week,
Oh yeah,
Kent,
yeah. Kent State.
yeah, I didn't see any of that game, so I don't really know what's going on there. I just assumed they were playing their backups for most of it.
Yeah.
But then Missouri having such success with them early, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Still,
it's kind of a head scratcher
yeah,
because we were labeled them kings, like who nobody can compare to Georgia, not even Alabama, and it's like I don't think we're really thinking that no more.
which it's Oregon might not, that Pac-12. People don't just give credit to the Pac-12. I mean, still, that's a tough, that's a big name team that they went out there and just smoked them. So you think coming off that national championship and they smoke Oregon, they're just going to continue to roll. But maybe that's not the case. I don't know. I'd be happy if it wasn't. But just makes me nervous for the Missouri game because we've got them this week.
I feel like
yeah, right. You're like, wait, is Missouri really good, or is Georgia just, not as good as we thought?
Tyler, did you say last year like Missouri always scares you? Like there's just something about they always play all well or something like that?
So Missouri is Missouri's that team that will either lose to like a Missouri State or some terrible team early in the season
Mm-hmm.
and beat a team that in the SEC East contention, right? A team that they shouldn't beat. Oftentimes, then they just beat Florida, even when Florida's not having a bad season. They'll just come up and beat us and kind of ruin our season. So, yeah, I don't know what it is about Missouri, but we don't play them very well. And I would say that I'd be surprised if our record wasn't sub 500 against them.
I got two questions about the Florida game. I did hear there was an Anthony Richardson scare, injury.
So, yeah, he it was actually they wrapped him up around the ankle and he threw a fantastic pass to the sideline with a guy around his ankle for a completion, and then he was hobbled, so he went out. They taped up his ankle, and Jalen Kitna, but John
Yeah.
Kitna's son,
Yep.
came in and actually looked pretty good and accurate. But again, the competition they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was out for. He didn't even finish. Like Kitna didn't even finish the drive. So I was doing so good. But Anthony Richardson came in at the end of the drive to finish it off. So, but no, he played several more downs, several more series after that.
Now I know he was 8 for 10, but I do see an interception here. So if he did throw it 30 times, he probably would have had 3 picks.
Right.
Statistically, yeah, that's what numbers mean. Yes.
Are you getting concerned with these interceptions?
So I mean that was
dude. This kid sucks, man. I'll just say it. The kid sucks. He's not a good quarterback. He has not shown. There has not been one single game, even against a team we've never heard of in our life, that he's just like lights out, like 40 for 50, 6 touchdowns. The kid sucks.
USF last year. He
that game either, so he didn't. So what Adam's talking about, we haven't done. Like that's not what Florida's off. You're not 50 from him. It's just not going to happen. So
right, but maybe they haven't, or you haven't, because the coordinator or Billy Napier is like, yeah, he doesn't. This is bigger than his threshold is. He's not this type of quarterback. Like there's other quarterbacks at shitty teams. Hawaii's quarterback always throws like 100 passes a game. There's other quarterbacks that do it. I am not sold on Anthony Richardson being a great quarterback or even a good quarterback. And I don't think that we're going to see any different if we haven't seen it yet. That's just my thought.
I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be that great quarterback because we haven't seen enough. But to say that you still don't think that he is, I mean, I think that's silly. He's only had, this is what, his 5th start, maybe 6th start ever. And he did fine. He did good against Tennessee. So he had a great game against Tennessee. We didn't lose because of him. Our defense couldn't stop Tennessee. So he's, for whatever reason, against Kentucky and then the South Florida game, they didn't want to make him mobile. They wanted to keep him in the pocket. And no, he's not going to be the pocket quarterback. He's just not. He's not going to pick apart a defense that way. But he played good and he threw accurately against Tennessee. He did again today. He had one. We were going deep a lot. It seems like that's what they just wanted to do, was try to really stretch the field. And I don't know, for whatever
reason, you have the best athletes on the field. Yeah, stretch it. Yeah, I get that.
One throw he threw into, like, I think what he did is he threw it short. I don't know what happened, why he threw it short, because he had the guy deep, and he threw it short, and there was like 4 guys there to one receiver. So something happened on that throw that he threw it so short. But he was throwing very accurate today. He threw accurate. He looked terrible against USF and Kentucky, but he didn't look terrible against Utah. He looked great against Utah. We just didn't throw the ball much because we had so much success running the ball. So especially that first game of the season, that just doesn't make sense for you to try to force passing when you're able to move the ball consistently, rushing and running with him. So again, I'm not going to sit here and try to say that he's going to be great, because I don't know. I mean, he did have that today, and I'm not going to pretend like that's nothing. But to act like, he's a redshirt sophomore, he's not, he's not Jameis Winston. Obviously, that's not his game at all. But he can still be.
So he doesn't like crab legs.
I don't know. He hadn't got caught.
It'd be a lot better if he did.
Yeah, if he did.
Yeah. I don't know. His stats are very like erratic. Like I see 112 passing yards, 143, 168, and then boom, 453, and you basically played maybe half a game, less than half a game. Got 240 against Eastern Washington, but I think it's all the. There was a combine today, and then he went and ran, and then see how far you can throw, and he's going to be drafted just straight off of potential, period. I mean, I think it's those intangibles, like, you can't teach height, you can't teach 240 pounds and run a 4.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
They'll draft him as a Matt Jones. The Jaguars will draft him and instead of putting him a quarterback or a wide receiver, we'll be like, hey, you want to play wide receiver?
So
we got Sunshine that can toss you some passes.
What they did with how bad.
I think last year, after that USF game y'all played, he almost had like, it was almost that Jameis Winston aspect when you said you watched Jameis Winston's first game, and it was just like, oh crap, this guy's really good. He got in that USF game last year and made some really spectacular play, like highlight plays that you'd be like, oh wow, this guy's going to be freaking good.
You gotta think
there's glimpses of excellence for sure.
You gotta think too, like, what it was compared to. So he came in as the backup when the starter was struggling, and he looked phenomenal. So when I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, but
Emory Jones.
When he started out in that game, like, I think he had a couple of picks to start the game. We just couldn't ball, and I don't know if he got hurt or what, or if the coach actually made the decision to pull him out and put in Richardson. But then Richardson comes in, and we just move the ball down the field. He's running big runs. So you could see like how fast he was, and then he threw a deep ball, so you could see his arm strength, and so you're like, wow, he throws a great deep ball. He can run, and yes, it was USF, but our starting quarterback was struggling against USF, and this guy came in and did it, and he did it, I think 2 weeks in a row, because even that first game, I can't remember who it was that we were playing. This is last year. Emory Jones was struggling again, and Anthony Richardson, when he got his time, he shined. So it was one of those things where it's like, man, Florida's got something, but he's raw and experienced, and so everybody's expecting to kind of see something. He didn't get his first start in Georgia. the eventual national champion and had one of the best defenses we've probably ever seen in college football.
Hey, he had opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He had an opportunity.
Well, he did. Didn't much at all the whole game, and then he just had those. It was like bam, bam, bam. Where he was fighting for extra yards and had a fumble. And then he comes back and it seemed like he was trying to do too much to make up for it and threw an interception. He threw another interception.
Yeah.
And those all three turned into points. So he also was injured last year. So it was like last year you just couldn't you saw his potential, but you couldn't really judge anything off of last year. And then this year, a little bit excited after Utah, but wanted to see more. And then Kentucky came and USF came, and you're like, crap, what's going on with this guy? But he doesn't look anything what we thought he could. Tennessee, he looked that way today, but we'll see against Missouri. We'll see what he does again, because Missouri usually defense. I think they have a decent defense this year too. They've got some guys on the defensive line, and so we'll see how he does this game. I think that'll at least tell us something.
My last question, and we'll go to the Jaguar game. I really hadn't watched. I didn't watch the Tennessee game. I mean, I was checking on the scores, stuff like that. And I didn't watch any of the Eastern Washington game. Is he putting a little bit more touch on the ball compared to that disastrous game?
Apparently too much touch today because he underthrew that guy that was wide open.
So yes. So that was the big thing, is that he's come off of that, like throwing it 100 miles an hour every single time, and he's putting more touch on the ball and throwing balls that guys can actually catch. But he's throwing them in places where he's throwing it where you want the ball to be, not just like throwing it to a guy who's standing still or having to jump backwards to catch out of his route. He could be more accurate. I'm not saying that he's like showing pinpoint accuracy, but I'm not like I care. Like the NFL, is he going to be the great projected NFL quarterback? To me, it doesn't really care. I'm a big Florida Gator guy, and that's what I care about. I love college football.
You don't care if he's good in the NFL unless it's for the Jaguars.
Exactly. And I mean, it's good, I guess, for recruiting purposes to have quarterbacks that go to the NFL and try to get those good guys coming in. But I mean, a good college quarterback, Tebow wasn't that accurate, but man, he could make some, he could have some great games and had 300-yard passing games.
Thank you, Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin, Aaron Hernandez, Lewis Murphy.
RIP.
Yeah.
To Hernandez.
Riley Cooper.
And the people he.
That was a hell of a wide out and receiver staff that he had to throw to.
Yeah. So would you say it's safe to say the jury's not out yet on Anthony Richardson, but also you would have liked to have seen him progress more at this point than he has?
Well, I mean, I think seeing what he did against Tennessee, I'm fine with. Like, I'm good with Tennessee, and then what he did today. So it was just, he's got those two games, South Florida, Kentucky, that you're like, what the hell was going on in those games? So is that what?
And the Kentucky game, we learned after that he may have had an injury that disabled him from being mobile, but not from keeping him out of the game. So that made sense why he wasn't like, but kind of like what you were speaking to, like the guy's a dual threat quarterback. Why are we not using him? Why are we not facilitating all of his assets?
Yeah. And it's hard to know what you're hearing is true, or just guys.
Of course. Of course.
Better information, they start spewing it. But yeah, and it almost sounds to me like Anthony Richardson did it to himself. Like it wasn't like this was the game plan to make him stuck in the pocket. That he was trying to prove himself, I guess, as a pocket passer, and wasn't playing his.
He was reading the message boards.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, that's fine, but he's not calling the plays, guys. He's not the OC. He's not saying, "Hey, I want to pass this play."
He's got to make it.
No, but the OC, who is Billy Napier, he is designing these pass plays with the understanding that he's able to run around, move, and not just be stuck in this pocket, do what he needs to do to be comfortable, right throws. And that's Anthony Richardson's game. And when he's not playing his game, we saw that he looks really, really bad, especially if he's trying to throw the ball 100 miles an hour. So if he's
Right.
feeling out there moving around, having some success with his legs, even if he doesn't have a big running game or running day, but just the fact that he's moving around with his legs and he's having success getting away from the pressure, I feel like then he's going to be a lot more successful, and then the Gators will be a lot more successful.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. A lot of season left, and like you mentioned, he's only a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
local guy. He came from Gainesville, so it's not like he was.
Oh well, there's the problem right there.
Buchholz.
Yeah.
High school.
Yeah, he's from Buckholz.
The passing game. He came in pretty raw.
Yeah.
That's why schools he wasn't a 5-star. I think he was a 4-star. And that's because he came in raw. And so
East side.
Yeah.
East side.
I mean, I hope he does well for you guys. I think the upside is still limitless. Like the roof is very high. I did want to ask, did you guys see the Penn State? They have a new walk-on quarterback. Did you guys see that? I think his name was like Chad Powers or something like that. Like they did like a documentary. You guys will have to look it up.
Eli Manning.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I saw it. That's pretty good.
It was hilarious. Tyler, did you see it?
I did, and I saw that it's out there. I kept meaning to watch it, and I hadn't watched it yet. So I'll
super funny. They've done similar things. Like they did Chris Bryant, the baseball player.
Yeah. Greg
Maddux. Yeah. Where they tell these guys like, oh yeah, this guy's a walk on. We're gonna give him a tryout. And then Chris Bryant is just blasting home runs. Greg Maddux is just like painting the corners.
Yeah.
And then Eli Manning, even at like 40, and he hasn't been in the league in over a year. He's just like throwing these darts, and they're like, man, he's really good. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I think a JUCO. Jared Goff did that to a JUCO.
Yep. Jared Goff did it as well. Yeah. It's like the starting quarterback's like, man, like I don't think. I think this guy's gonna take my spot. He's like, yeah, no shit. He's an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I just saw one recently. It was Jimmy Fredette walking on at BYU. He's just like jacking up.
Isn't that what he actually did in real life?
Yeah, but he put a little like fat suit on him, so he had like a gut, and he had like this crazy, like changed his face. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
you couldn't tell, but he's just like he can't miss from the 3-point line. Just starts jacking him up from half court and stuff. They're like,
that's amazing.
It was like Chad Powers too. It's like some silly name, and he's just like
right.
He'll talk about himself in the third person. And the coach is like, "Who the is this guy?" Like it was,
this is the best Mormon ever play basketball.
Yeah. So, but
by the way, is Jimmer, because he was in the league for a while. Is he still in the NBA?
Yeah, I see him. Different highlights. I think he's been playing overseas. Like the second best league is like I think the Spain league. I think he's been playing over there.
Okay.
And they make good money over there too. Tax free.
Tax free. Yeah. Good for him.
Way better money than what they would make over in the NBA.
Yeah, but I feel like the NBA. I mean, I know like the league minimum for MLB is like probably $300K. I would assume the NBA's similar. I mean, but I guess over in Spain or any other league, you don't have to be if you're a nobody in the NBA, you're probably a star over there.
Yeah, making big money.
Right. So
1.8 million is the league minimum. I mean, there's only like 15 guys on the team, so
yeah.
For NBA?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's nice.
That's a lot of money to ride the pine. So Jaguars.
Yeah.
Look good for a minute.
Yeah, look good. I'm still thinking about getting my tickets to the Super Bowl in Arizona. I missed watching the first part of the game. I listened to it on the radio. I was on the way out to a friend's, mutual friend of ours, Justin Harris, and we go up 14-0, defensive touchdown, offensive touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, the Jacksonville savior. And then we just give up points. We give up points. Like our main thing that's been amazing this whole year is defense, and then we give up points. We give up points. What do you guys think about the game? What are your takeaways?
Yeah, you lose by 8 points, which is a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and you had 5 turnovers. Like it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Four from Trevor, right?
All 5. He fumbled 4 times and threw 1 interception.
One pick, yeah.
Yeah. So
covered it.
I mean, honestly, like it was a monsoon. It was like pouring down rain, and I'm just
from the start, yeah.
And we never really try to get the run game going. I mean, maybe like the first drive or something, but like I'm just thinking like we just kept getting into these like 2nd and 10s, 3rd and 10s. I'm just like, why the hell? Now we have to throw again. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves?
Yeah.
But
and especially you would think if you go up 14-0, part of the game plan would be, all right, let's run this clock till the half.
Well, it was super early. I think it might have been 10 minutes into the game. We're up 14-0.
Yep.
So I mean, here's another thing. He had Agnew wide open for like I don't know, 65-yard touchdown pass, 55-yard touchdown pass, and I mean, just slightly overthrew it, but he was wide open. It was like a double move. He got behind the safety and the DB, wide open. You could go up 21-0 if you make that pass. So there was opportunities to even like really capitalize on it. But yeah, I mean, I want to blame like, well, it was raining. Well, Philadelphia had to play in the rain too, and they didn't have any miscues like that. But we had drop balls after drop balls. We had, the fumbles. We had penalties. I don't know. It was just kind of the perfect storm. The way we've been playing ball the last 2 weeks, which has just been ruthless. It's like the perfect storm happened to defeat us, and it reminded me a lot of the Florida State game of like, okay, we scored first, and you're feeling really good, and then all of a sudden you just go with MIA for the next 2-3 quarters, and then all of a sudden you want to start playing again. Like it's just like, because there was a time there I was just like, yeah, this is game, this is done, and then we just go down the field and score a touchdown. Like I'm like, well, actually, if we get the ball back, we can try to win this game. We can try going to overtime or something. So I'm not frustrated. It's just like it's I think like with the Florida State loss, it's like it's almost like you're afraid when the balloon was going to pop. You're afraid when the clock strikes 12, and it's like, okay, yeah, Jordan Travis really ain't that good. Like he just had a couple good lucky games, and but no, like I'm like, no, we look legit. And going to the Jaguars, it's like, I made excuses like, well, they didn't have Michael Pittman for the Colts, and we could just focus on Jonathan Taylor. And then, Herbert had a crack rib or cartilage, and and then now, you can go, and if we would have beat Philly, well, it was in the rain and it was a monsoon. It was just a weird game, but we look legit. I mean, honestly, you got 5 turnovers, and you actually had the ball, 2-minute warning to go down the field and tie the game.
And
like,
he fumbles again, yeah.
It's frustrating, but
yeah, with the way he fumbled, you'd think like, all right, did
3
they have
times?
Yeah, did they have rain in Clemson? Like, did it rain there? Like, has Trevor Lawrence never touched a damn wet ball? Like, what's going on here?
Well, the way he was holding it, like he was like holding it down low, like not secure up by his body, like holding it down, and so they just come in and hit him and just pops right out. I don't know. It
Well,
looked
yeah, I mean that's the thing with these millennials is they don't protect their balls. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I, I think he was worried about his hair getting wet. And he was
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah. They're
wasn't
too worried about
focused.
their hair, not focused on their balls, like protecting those. Just got to do a better job of protecting the ball.
I mean, is me talking about Florida State being hyped? Like I saw Pete Prisco's top 10 power rankings. And he had Jaguars as the ninth best team. It's like,
In the
are we going?
league,
Yeah, are we going to continue to play like this all through the whole year?
yeah.
If we do, then hell yeah, I'm excited. I'm like, we got a rival game next week against Houston, and
they're awful. We better win that game.
but it's the NFL. I mean, you got to.
Yeah, any given Sunday. Yeah, no,
We
I agree.
5 turnovers. We're probably not going to win that game.
It is extremely tough to win a game when you give the ball to the team 5 times when they shouldn't have it. I agree. I didn't look. I didn't see how many how many times did they score off of those turnovers
It
out
was
of
it's like
5?
24. It was a lot.
Yeah. So
They were counting it
yeah,
as it went. I remember it hit 17, and then it kept going up.
right.
They didn't score in the last one because all they had to do is in the winning formation and
Yeah.
kneel the game.
Yeah, victory formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's crazy too. Last week we're talking, oh, Trevor Lawrence finally is amazing. He's great. He's finally got his footing in the league. And then this week, he's playing like a deer in the headlights. Can't hold the ball. I mean, that's unacceptable. Like, and I don't know how you fix that. I only played football for 1 year of Pop Warner. So I don't know how you fix fumbles. I'm sure football people know,
Protect them.
but I mean, that's the easy fix, right? Yeah, like don't let any defensive person touch them, but that's obviously easier said than done.
Yeah. I mean, I still like the direction we're going in and everything. It's just, are we going to continue to play at this high level? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the, I guess, I think you do have to give Philly some credit because it's like, I know early on, when they finally started scoring and stuff, they're using, because we're just super fast on defense. Like, it's not
Yeah,
like we got a bunch of like Aaron Donald, like strong, just people that just take over the game.
right.
We're really, really fast.
Yeah,
And
we got a lot of Josh Allen's and
with
Trayvon's. Yeah,
Jalen Hurts able to scramble a run, it almost like they let our guys get like through really, really quick, and then they were just killing us with the screen passes.
right,
Yeah.
Like it was, I just remember the announcer saying over and over, they're like, they're doing a really good job using the defense's speed against them because they were
right.
just being pursuit. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
about to
like, yeah,
sack Jalen Hurts,
yeah,
and
come get me. Yeah,
he flicks it right over. They did a good job. They're a good team. I'm not going to sit here and say Philadelphia's the best team. Everybody's going to say because they're only 4-0 team. But they're going to be a tough team. I don't see them winning the Super Bowl. I mean, I can see them going to the playoffs, and playoffs is just a different ball game. I just don't see them winning completely over and over and over to the championship. But I mean, they're definitely, I would say, a top 5-10 team. I mean, that O line was really good too.
yeah. Jalen had 0 touchdown passes, and they beat us.
Monsoon, they weren't dumb enough to throw every damn time.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Why? Yeah, why? Yeah, he only threw the ball 25 times,
I don't
which
understand.
Trevor only threw it 23 times, but still, um, I mean, when you have ETN and Robinson in the backfield, which I think are both very good running backs, just feed them the ball, man.
Well,
Yeah.
he would have threw it 27 times if he didn't fumble the damn ball every time.
True. Yeah, true. Yeah, he would have thrown on those times he fumbled.
And you probably would have had more throws because we had the ball longer. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was on the pace to go
Thank God he
30s.
fumbled 4 times, or those would have been 4 extra picks.
um, yeah, I just think we got something in James Robinson. Um, and even with ETN, like I like to see maybe like a 65-35 split, which I feel like we kind of have that right now.
Which way?
Smith,
Robin.
Robinson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, Robinson's a beast, man.
Yeah, I think just ETN is more changed pace kind of guy. He kind of reminds me of like Reggie Bush a little bit. I mean, just kind of like he can get that first down so fast, like on a screen pass or
Right.
whatever they set up for him to run, if it's an end around or he's lightning quick. But then his ass gets laid out too. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah. Real quick, not to interrupt. Did you guys see the Reggie Bush video that just got posted this week?
Yeah, that was good.
Hartle, did you see it?
I shared it in the Instagram group.
yeah, okay,
Yeah. So for our listeners, which I know it's a lot, Reggie Bush, his he's top player coming out of college, and the New Orleans Saints I think had the 3rd pick, and then the New York Jets had the 4th. And his agent and him were like, I want to go to New York. It's better for marketing, whatever. So his agent called the Saints, and Sean Payton picks up, and his agent tells Sean Payton, hey, do not draft Reggie. We're not coming there. And then Sean Payton says, fuck you. We're drafting Reggie. Hangs up. And then that's how Reggie Bush went to the Saints.
Yeah.
What an amazing story. I love that story.
Did y'all see his commercial? Wendy's
Recently,
or something? Yeah. It's like Reggie Bush is now back. Like he had his USC jersey on and stuff, and
I thought they disowned him because he took money from
yeah.
the
It's
college.
I guess now with all the imaging
NIL,
and NIL,
yeah.
That I have to rewatch it. I feel like I've heard someone talk about it, and then I like caught glimpses of it, but it's like welcome back, we're giving you all this stuff, and it's like they're naming a chicken sandwich after him. It's just kind of like
good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah, he was one of the most electric and best and most fun college football players to watch. Like I would say him,
Peter Ward,
Percy Harvin, Peter Work, the best college player ever to play, did not win a Heisman. Yeah, like all 3 of them just electric to watch.
Yeah, it's a shame they took his Heisman away. Reggie Bush.
I think he's getting it back.
He should, but they should have never taken it away. I mean,
yeah, it's just
he still had that season. He still did that work.
Yeah.
Same with Barry Bonds.
Oh yeah. Well, now like everyone's saying, "Oh, Aaron Judge is the real home run leader."
Yeah,
it's like I have nothing against Aaron Judge, and like whatever, but like, nah, dude. Until you hit like what did Bonds hit? 71, 72?
Dude, I was listening to Dan Patrick. It is just like I was like, you're absolutely right. He was like, if people actually pitched to Bonds, he would have hit over 100 home runs. He would have hit over 100.
He had over like 100 walks and like so many intentional walks that year.
Like that was insane. And my whole aspect of it's like baseball was in the dumps after the 94 strike.
McGuire and Sosa saved baseball.
And then now they're getting ridiculed for it. It's like it drives me kind of crazy. I mean, I guess it's my error, like of paying attention, but then now they're going to slap it of like, this steroid error, like none of the stats are legit. For Roger Clemens, he roid rated too, and I mean it's just like it's all kind of lost now of just like is Barry Bonds ever going to make it to the Hall of Fame now? Like I'd probably not.
I'm with those guys that it's like if everybody was juicing.
Yeah, the pitchers were too, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can't tell me like the pitchers weren't juiced as well. So I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
everyone was doing what they wanted, what they needed to do or had to do to be the best they could and to get paid the most. So like, if you
Baseball's race to fix it, so you had to either do it, or be left behind.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Baseball
yeah,
playing fair, but
yeah, of course. And there's doping and steroid use in every sport. Even like the sport you would never think in a million years,
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong and
Yeah.
bicycling, you would never think like, oh, those guys are skinny, like whatever. Like, no, those guys do it as well.
I thought it was the Mick Ultra.
recently talked about
in that water bottle on the cycle, he was just chugging Mick Ultras and the Tour de France.
but those guys' bodies are so wrecked in that Tour de France that like they need to do steroids. Like it's almost
Yeah,
impossible for their
yeah,
body.
yeah, yeah. It's all about like the recovery and like, yeah, I agree. And that's the thing too. Like the baseball guys, were, oh, like they would always say, it wasn't so I could get bigger; it was so I could recover faster. And then it's like, no,
That's
Barry
true.
Bonds, your hat size went from 6 1/4 to 7 7/8. Like, dude, you were a giant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Massive. And Mark
Yeah.
McGuire, really massive.
Oh,
Well,
dude, I remember one of my favorite things ever as a sports fan, coming home in high school and turning ESPN on immediately to see who hit a home run that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so much
McGuire or
fun.
Sosa, that baseball race, and then you'd see McGuire like at bat, just like his forearms were just massive, like and Tyler, me and you played, high school baseball, and the bat that I would hold, it's like whatever. It looked like that when he would hold the bat, he could just snap it at
Yeah.
any time if he wanted to. It looked like a toothpick for these guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No,
After one of his home runs and his son comes, I guess it might have been the 61 or whatever it was, and his son comes running out to him, and his son's like 150 pounds, 12-year-old or something like that.
Yeah, big kid. Yeah.
A toddler, just like, hey,
huh?
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, what a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that those races. It was like it like one would get a lead and then like by like 4 or 5 home runs, and then Sosa would hit like a 3 home run game. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like it
Yeah.
was just crazy.
I don't even know if we could have appreciated it or I know I didn't appreciate it in the moment. But now looking back, like what that race really was, like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, at the moment, I don't think you can, but like looking back, it's just insane that you had two guys doing it at the same time, both in the NL, which the NL is not known for, great hitting or whatever. They're more pitching, and yeah, it was amazing. So
What was the recent it wasn't like a performance enhancement. Well, it was performing enhancement, but it was some type of like
a little
gel
paste
or sticky thing on the ball
to give
to
it
make
a
the
high.
spin rate.
talcum, talcum is what it was, and Garrett Cole was the one that got popped for that after he signed like
Yeah.
$500 million to the Yankees. Like the first game he pitched, it was when the umpires started checking everything, and then he got popped. And then he was like, "Well, I can't control the ball. I can't." And then like the next 4 to 5 starts he had, he got shelled.
Yeah.
But even hitters, I've heard interviews and like interviews and stuff, like in press conferences, where they'll say, "No, I want the pitcher to have the most control on the ball because the ball's coming at 95 to 100 miles an hour. I want him to know where it's going. I don't want it to hit me in the head."
Yeah.
So
It's nuts. It's nuts how like to throw 90 now. Like if you're coming up through baseball and you throw 90,
you're a scrub.
Yeah.
like you 5+ to 100. Like it's nuts how fast these guys are throwing nowadays.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I remember listening to Jarrett Weaver. he threw really, really slow. Like end of his career, like he was maxing out at like 82, 80. And he said like somebody disrespected him. So he's like, I tore his ass up with an 80 miles per hour. Like, what'd you do? He's like,
It's only like 2 years in the league or something.
yeah.
It's like his time, like grabbing his nuts,
Yeah.
holding the bat out there, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah,
I put
there's a good documentary that you guys should watch, and our listeners. It's the Nolan Ryan documentary. I think it's on Netflix. And back then, they didn't have like digital radar guns because when we watched Nolan Ryan, he was already like 45.
Yeah.
So he was pitching for like 20 years. So when he was coming up,
How
they
fast
did
was
like
his last fastball at 45 years old?
I think it was still like 93 or something like
I think
that.
it was
Something,
98.
yeah, something crazy.
It was
But
like
they did the math or the equation on it. His fast. I'm a little skeptical about this, but there was several people in the documentary that said he threw 108 miles an hour.
it's nuts.
I mean, it probably felt like it. Shoot. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, when throwing that hard,
who's Aurelius Chapman 106 point. He has it tattooed on his wrist.
yeah, and do you guys remember Joel Zamaya for the Tigers? He used
Yeah.
to throw like 105 or something
Yeah.
crazy. And then Mark Wohlers for the Braves when we were growing up, he would throw like 103, 104. But
Yeah.
108 is crazy.
Yeah.
Tennessee Volunteers, they had that guy in college. I guess he was a closer throwing about, like, I think he topped out 105 a couple of times. Young, so if he doesn't, hurt his elbow and
If he hurts it, Tommy John, it comes back stronger.
Yeah, come back yeah.
110.
They made a movie about that one kid, the rookie or
Rookie,
rookie
yeah.
of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on a true story, the 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember asking David Simpkins when he was tearing it up his senior year. I was like, is there any like pregame rituals you do or anything? Like, what do you do when you're pitching? He said he would take the game ball and just chew on the seams to make it to where he can grip it. I'm just like, so you get pissed, like the first pitch is a foul ball and like it's gone, you know what I mean? Just like, oh yeah,
that was common. So you would do that, and then they would also have us rub down the balls before the game, so that like out of the package they're sticky. And Tyler was a full-time pitcher because he couldn't do anything else. So
no. Else. There's pouch.
So out of the package, the balls are like sticky, like you can't grip it. So we would like rub them down, and then you would bite the seams because you would try to raise the seams by biting it. So like if you're throwing a curveball or a two-seam fastball, there's better movement on it.
Yeah.
Which at high school it probably didn't matter, but who knows? For David, it probably did because he was one of the best high school pitchers ever. Play in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And in high school he didn't throw hard.
Yeah.
He was topping out in high school like 80, 85, 86, maybe at the most, right,
Greg
Tyler?
Maddux. Lefty Greg Maddux.
Lefty throwing 85. And I think he ended up throwing a little bit harder later on. That was 19 or 20. But in high school, it wasn't that he threw hard. He had, what it was, and he had
change up.
That he could play.
Yep.
And my opinion, that's the most effective pitch that you can have. Because guys with great changeup seem to be the best pitchers. Guys who can really locate those changeups. I mean, I don't know. Now, the era of throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour might be different, but back when we were playing, that was the case.
Yeah, isn't there some guy throwing a changeup like in the 90s now?
I mean, I would think.
Sure. I would assume it
was some video I saw of the Otani, and he like it was like a 90 miles per hour changeup, and he was like, and so he went back out there and tried it himself, and he hit it a changeup going like 90 miles per hour.
Otani did?
Yeah.
That's I mean, funny. about like 10 miles, the 10-mile-per-hour difference. Like you don't want like this huge difference. Most likely you'd want about 10-mile-per-hour difference between your fastball and your changeup for it to be most effective.
Well,
Just not on that front foot a little bit.
well, I think in the movie or the documentary, the rookie, he struck somebody out underhanded after throwing so
Yeah,
fast.
floater.
The floater, yeah. So
Yeah, his mom told him to do a floater. Um, we're gonna end on this. We know
Yeah.
you guys wanted to hear the baseball. Hart will sign us out.
Hmm?
Sign us out.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Y'all have a good one. We love you. Hit the like, subscribe, share it. Actually, share it.
Share it with your friends and family. Yeah.
We're missing comments, man. We would really enjoy some comments. If your comment's really, really good, we might even ask you to come on or something. But we already lost Tyler. But hey, y'all have a good one. We love y'all. See you later.
Love you guys.
Cool.
You're still recording.